I agree with Rob, though. It's hard to get into.
Are we ahead today? Last question.
Yes.
Rob, you weren't so sure earlier.
I'd say we are moderately ahead. I would not say we are ahead. I would say we are trending nicely, but not necessarily. No, there's no closed deal here.
Okay.
Right.
This is still down to a handful of states. It's still, there are still like key states that are, you know, the map looks like 2004 still. If I start to see the map look a little bit different, and there's a couple places where, like Virginia and Colorado, where we've seen some steady polling, where we are seeing some differences.
North Carolina too.
North Carolina, the Obama campaign has been spending a lot of time there, and I think
closing the gap in Missouri, which surprised me this week. It's down to a point in Missouri.
So if you started to see those kind of states kick over, then I'd say you're more than ahead. Now you're really starting to see the question of, can you actually get some sort of a mandate out of this election? Right. And that's really what I'd like to say.
Has McCain's implosion, explosion happened early enough?
Yes, it's happened just the right time.
That's what I was wondering. Because, well, and explain why I asked that.
Always worried about the October surprise. What's going to happen that's going to shake things up and is going to change things? Well, we got our October surprise just a little bit before
the economic crisis. Right.
So the debate really is now framed up, and there's not a ton of time between now and the end. And you've got some structural events in these debates that are going to provide people are waiting opportunities to look and say, well, what's going to happen next week? What's going to happen next week? And there's enough of those events between now and Election Day that it's very hard to completely change the subject in a week.
Okay, so meaning that McCain's kind of getting into a rut, which is hard to pull out of, and B, it's early enough of a rut that it's not too early before the election, and it's not too close to the election where everybody's voted and it's too late to.
Right. Correct.
So it's kind of where you want him to be imploding, or when you want him to be imploding, I should say.
Jello is setting on the terms of the debate of this last month of the election.
Okay.
And it's clearly about where are we as a country going to go, particularly on the economy.
Right.
And if that's the case, that is not John McCain's good side. It certainly is absolutely Barack Obama's advantage if we continue to talk just about the economy.
Do we care about Thursday's debate with Sarah Palin? Another last question.
Well,
really?
Well,
I mean, as political people who want to win, does it matter?
This is why I think it matters. I think she also had a horrible week this week. That interview with Katie Couric was it was appalling. It was appalling to think that John McCain thinks this woman could step in and be president. She is not qualified, and that is reverberating. We're dealing with, and what, you know, a lot of times people think the second VP doesn't matter. I think it matters this year because we're dealing with a 72-year-old man who's had cancer 4 times, and the first choice he showed us,
and he doesn't look good.
No,
it's not like he's vibrant and healthy. Yeah.
The first thing he did was pick her, and he's told that was the decision. He said to the American people, "This is who I think is ready to be president." She is not. We saw it. We've seen it in the interview she's doing. I think we'll see. You know. The thing that's really bothersome to me is that the media is willing to set the bar so low for her. The bar needs to be, can this woman be president of the United States? That's it.
Not can she be better than horrible.
Not that she can be better, not that she beat expectations, nothing. Can this woman be president of the United States?
Well, actually, you know what? It's the same bar that was set for Obama in the sense of this person is new. Can I see them as president? Is he presidential? And I would even said that on Friday night too, that, you know, I had more of a sense of it being a tie, which is interesting because most people didn't agree with me. But Obama came off totally presidential. And that's the whole point. If you look at both of them and say, oh yeah, they could both be president, then
this is really where we're at the close the deal stage, right? And that's what you need to do to close the deal if you're him. And I think that what Palin is not going to close the deal for John McCain. It's going to actually bring up more problems for him. And I think if her performance this week is anything like her performance last week, it certainly can't be a good week for the McCain campaign coming up. Not what you would ideally want to be talking about a month out from the election.
Right, and I think you're sensing I think more and more we're seeing comments, anonymous comments from McCain staffers picked up in the media, and they're very disappointed in her performance. They're worried about her. They're talking about how the campaign is very chaotic and it's kind of an ADD type of campaign. I think when you start hearing campaigners doing that, that's a little bit of self-protection. They're basically, I think
it's not my fault when we lose.
That's exactly We're starting to see that telegraphing now. Now, that doesn't mean the Republicans aren't capable of anything. These are Karl Rove's proteges who are running this campaign. They will do a lot to try and change it.
And as we know, polls aren't always correct. So we shouldn't trust.
There's a lot going on. But overall, I feel a lot better than I did a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
I like the direction this is heading. And again, I will say again, I think Obama deserves a lot of credit for his performance at the debate the other night.
But he can't let up in this. Actually, during the debate, he wasn't ironically, he was being more the old Obama that drives us crazy, where he was being nicer, but it worked.
But I think that was also part of his strategy. He wasn't talking to us the other night. He was talking to the American people.
But he still needs to be as hard during the debate, correct?
Barack Obama has not been on the stage since his convention, realistically. Yeah, there's been advertising, and but fundamentally the public has not had a chance to look at him for a period of time. And I think that that was what he was trying to do this last week.
Right.
This is who I am as a leader. This is who I'm going to be as president. He has to stick to that to close the deal. If he can do that for the next 3 or 4 weeks, he's probably looking at a close race to a comfortable victory. If McCain is able to resurrect himself and Obama stumbles a little bit,
literally,
we'll be back on lipstick on a pig, I'm sure.
And I also feel like Obama has done a lot of the counter punching at his events around the country.
Right.
I mean, some of the stuff.
But he's got to keep it up, is what I meant. At the events, he can't.
Keep it up.
He can't say nice work to the debate. Let's be nice.
But it wasn't nice the whole time. That's not entirely fair. On Iraq, he was very clear.
Yeah. Actually, that was a great quote.
Yeah. You were wrong about that, and that's exactly the kind of.
We posted that video. That was great.
We, I think, as partisans, have been looking for a while from him, which is someone just stand up next to these guys and say, wait a minute, you were wrong. Period.
Right. You were there and you were wrong. Right.
Because you were wrong in the past.
And I thought he had a great mocking tone too when he brought up the incident about Spain, and mentioned to McCain that he was singing songs about bombing Iran. I think Obama did it enough. I think he did it
to tick him off, but it was lighthearted enough that.
And he also did it. Remember, his audience was the American people, the independents, the other side.
Exactly.
It wasn't us. And I think he speaks to us at those rallies, and when and his tone at the rallies, he really looks like he's having a lot of fun. He just mocking John McCain, and you know it's getting under McCain's skin. He just sensed that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.